If you've been freehand drawing for any length of time, then you know it doesn't take a whole lot for things to start looking a little weird. Being able to capture the correct proportions and perspective in order to make your artwork look more realistic and three-dimensional can be a challenge, but I'm going to share with you some of my very favorite techniques and tools that I use when I'm creating artwork in order to help me capture proper proportions and make sure that my artwork makes sense every single time. If you're new here, my name is Katrina Crouch. I'm an artist and educator who's passionate about teaching the why behind the how. So not just step-by-step cookie cutter tutorials, but I really want to equip you so that you're able to create art on your own. So in this video, I'm going to break down the process that I use and add in some of the techniques that I'll use when I feel like I'm struggling to capture either proportions or perspective. So let's get started. Now I am going to be doing flower stick, and I find it a little bit easier to break down for students than working with figures, but I follow the same exact process when I am working on figures. The first thing you want to make sure you have is access to your reference or whatever it is that you're drawing. You want to be able to see them clearly. I go into more detail about this in my Drawing from Your Imagination video, which I'll have linked up here. But the gist of it is that we're not really designed to remember all of those details, let alone proportions and perspective. That can be very difficult and very challenging, especially if you don't want your image to look very stiff, very textbooky. If you want to have a little bit more life and a little bit more movement, work as much from life as you can. But for the sake of filming this, I'm going to be using a strong reference image instead. This is from Unsplash, and I'll have it linked down below, but it helps to have that strong reference image so that you're able to check the proportions and use these tricks that I'm about to show you in order to make sure that everything is as accurate as possible. All right, once you have your reference image, it's time to get pencil to paper. Now we're gonna work very light to start off. We're gonna do a process that I like to call mapping. And for this process, I'm going to move my hand toward the back of my pencil so I'm able to write very lightly. And I'm going to just mark out generally where all of these shapes need to go. So things like, where does this first flower go and about what size do I think it needs to be? And this will help us as we are working. Now I'm working very light. I'm going to place an overlay for you so that you can see the lines that I'm making. But I want to work very lightly so that I can make changes. So things like, oh, maybe this needs to be moved over. I can do that very easily because I haven't scarred the paper with a bunch of lines already. And maybe I put this first flower too far over to the right, and so the other two flowers fell off the edge of the page, or maybe one is just way too large and it wasn't working with the composition. And one thing you may have noticed with this initial sketch, these are just large sections. So I did pull out some more focal details, but not even any other petals other than just these wonky couple that kind of stay out, and just to make sure that there's enough room for them and they're breaking into all that negative space. None of the petals on this piece, none of the petals on this one, even though they're going to be more focal and more interesting. I'm working very large and then we'll get smaller, and that will really help you to get a little bit more of that perspective and those proportions correct. All right, so we can mess with this more and more, but now we're going to check our work. And this is a technique that we're going to use throughout this process, so let's break it down now. It's probably something that you've heard of, or at least something that you saw in cartoons, where an artist will hold their hand out and stare at their pencil or their paintbrush. That's a way of measuring or capturing an angle. For example, let's say I want to do a 1:1 scale copy. So the size that this thing is the size that's going to be on my paper. If that's not how you're working, just stay with me, don't panic, and I promise we'll break it down further. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my pencil down. You can also hold it, but I'm just placing it here. And I'm using the eraser as the top, and I'm just going to place my fingers down where the bottom of this flower is. Now, just eyeballing it, this looks like it's more of an oval shape where it's a little more smooshed in this direction. But it also, in this direction, looks like it's about the same size as this flower is in this direction, but this one is more rounded. Well, let's double check. We're basically going to use our pencil as a ruler, and it's pretty close. Not quite, it's a little bit taller in this end, but it hits this petal, so that's good for me to know. And if I'm going around, it's pretty much the same length all the way around, which is a little bit hard to see because this eraser is the same color as that flower. But that's one of the ways you can check your proportions. So let's double check and say we want to do a 1:1 scale that is spot on. So we've got, it's starting here, it's ending here. Let's go to our more circular flower, and that is pretty much perfect. Now I can also go in this direction. I can see that this length that went this way, it is indeed shorter than this length. So I would need to extend that, get a new measurement. Oops. And that was pretty good. So we're good on measurements there, which is great. And we can move ahead with confidence. You can also measure things like the distance in between. This one, I have a little bit more distance in there. That doesn't bother me. If it bothers you, you can scoot this flower down a little bit more. Those are different ways. If you're like, something seems off here, that's how you can check it very easily. So now let's say you're working with something that is small and you want to make it larger. So what you would do is you would just measure it, and then, oh, it's about double. So everything, that means that all of your measurements would need to be doubled. So when you're measuring this direction, you'd want that to be about double in order to just make those measurements work. And then, as you've probably guessed, if you're working with something that's a lot larger, you'll just kind of cut it in half or cut it in thirds. That's a little bit easier to do with something that's a little more predictable, like a ruler or something like that, but you can kind of eyeball it. I mean, we're drawing. These are kind of things that start to come more naturally to you as you have a little bit more experience. Also, if you're drawing something that's a lot larger, maybe just back up a little bit so that it's a little easier. Now that our mapping is done, composition looks good, and we've made sure that the size, proportions, and relationships are correct, we're ready to start drawing. Now, if you're really worried about drawing this section and getting all of these petals in here, we can follow some of these same steps. So again, this works for flowers. It also works for portraiture or landscapes, things with more detail, things with a little bit less detail. We've kind of got this section marked off, and we're just going to kind of section off these individual pieces. And by just breaking them down, so I'm working on this petal here, and I can see, okay, that's going to go to the edge, and I'm just kind of simplifying it. So I've got kind of this triangular section and just kind of mapping everything out. This will just help me to see, like, okay, if this petal is way out here, well, that's where I went wrong. And that's why everything else started to get bigger, because that was way too big. It's okay if like this one's a little bit too big, but if we keep getting bigger and bigger, then yes, we're going to have a problem. Now, is this something that I do with every single drawing? Certainly not. But if you are struggling with it, this is something that can help you following these steps. We're just breaking it down more than you might need to so that you have the tools if you are struggling. So now at this point, I'm going to smoosh that spider. Spiders love my art. That's all I'm going to say. My mom and the spiders are my biggest fans. And now it's time to kind of follow your regular drawing process. If you want more help with this stage, I have a free drawing mini course. If you're like, you know what, this is great information, but I need more help than this. I need to start closer to the beginning. Please take advantage of that free mini course. That's why I made it, because I wanted to give, like 5 very simple, easy to follow lessons so that people who are starting at the very beginning can get more advanced quickly. All right, so I'm going to draw this in, again, like I normally would, with confidence, knowing that I have generally everything mapped out. I'm also testing out the Blackwing pencils. I have never used them before. So I recently got this starter kit, which I'll have a video tour of at some point, and kind of a review, but this is my first time drawing with these. They are so soft. I did not expect them all to be like B pencils, but I'm not hating them. So this is a good example. This section right here should be significantly smaller, probably half. Looks like I just got a little overzealous while I was creating this petal. So that just means that with this next one, I just need to keep in mind, okay, maybe I should start that a little bit closer. If I keep scooting it away, even if I keep everything else consistent, something's gonna be off down here. Now for flowers, it's not that big of a deal, but being able to check ourselves by looking at this negative distance, or the distance in between these two elements, these two lines, will help us to kind of keep track of things. Again, if it's a face, we might want to pay a little bit more attention, because an eyebrow off by double is going to be noticeable. All right, one way to check yourself again with how things are working in relation. So does this petal come out here? Well, I wanted to double check. So I looked to see what was coming out directly across from that petal. And it was the commencement of this petal here. So it was indeed where I wanted to make sure it was coming out. So that's how you can use like relationships to check and correct your perspective when you're struggling with that. All right, for this last flower, this will be the most challenging, not only because it's much more irregular and wonky, but it's also the most difficult to see in our reference image. So we already have things pretty much mapped out. We will measure as needed just to make sure that sizing is the way that it needs to be. But one thing we're going to do in addition is that we're going to step away from our paper every couple of minutes. So just leaning back in my chair, making sure that I have more of a broad view so I'm not getting so tight and so distracted about something that's small and losing the whole. That's where you end up with, everything is looking great, but then like this massive flower is your last one, or everything is looking good, but then like, why is the ear so large, or why is this foot so irregular? So that's what we want to do. We're just reassessing everything by stepping back a little bit and making sure that everything makes sense together as a whole and not just the individual pieces. All right, finish that petal, kind of just leaning back. It looks fairly consistent with some of these. So it looks consistent size-wise, detail-wise with the others. All right, now that we have our main flowers in, it's time to work on the stem. And this technique is great for capturing the angle of a nose or a jawline, or just, the angle between two different objects. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take out our pencil again and use it again, kind of as a ruler or as a measuring guide. And I'm going to this time capture the angle. So it's best if you can work in small distances, and even better if you can lock your elbow so that you're not moving around quite as much. But I'm going to capture this, and let's do this first because we're going to be starting from that center of that flower, and we want it to kind of go down in this angle. So making sure that I'm going through the center of my flower, I'm going to follow this angle and use that as my guide there, and then looks like we curve down kind of in this direction. So I'm just going to place down that angle, but I'm also going to curve them together. And then down here, generally like this, it does kind of curve out quite a bit more, but I'm going to simplify it and just bring it down here. And that is generally the process that I use whenever I'm drawing, whether it's portraiture, still lifes, florals, landscapes. If I'm trying to capture that perspective and proportions, those are the techniques that I use. If you have further questions and would like more clarification, or maybe I didn't quite answer the question that you have, please let me know in the comment section down below. Or if there's another aspect of art that you are struggling with, I'd love to hear about it and see if I can help you out. Anyway, I hope that you are having a wonderful, wonderful day, and until next time, happy drawing.